Under the scope. Hey, Scope fans.
Hi.
Jared and Shane. That's me. That's Jared. We are here with another in our summer of 2014 movie series reviews, if you will. If you want to call this a review, I might call it a rampage. This time around, we are seeing, I guess this would be considered a tradition for us here at the Scope. We saw the latest Transformers movie. Transformers 4...
Age of Extinction.
Age of Extinction. Sorry, I'm spitting all over the place. That's also what you would call my brain.
Yeah, leaking out of your mouth.
Oh, my God. This is Michael Bay's back. He decided 3 Transformers weren't enough.
Nope.
So he is back. This time he's ditched Shia LaBeouf.
Most people have at this point.
He's ditched John Turturro. He's ditched all of the regular. Megan Fox is out.
Yep.
Actually, well, she was out in the third one as well. This time he's replaced him with Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Who else is he?
T.J. Miller's in it for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Someone, I don't know who plays his daughter.
Yeah,
Stanley Tucci is in
Young
it.
Terry. Stanley Tucci.
Kelsey Grammer.
The bad guy from Lost.
Yes, that guy.
Not the main bad, sort of the main bad guy, but you don't even know he's
Those
a bad
are the
guy.
names. We've listed the names.
In this film, the Transformers are back. But, Jared, they're being hunted by humans.
Yes. Because
Why?
we all know that the most important thing about Transformers is to get as much human action as possible.
Yeah, we love humans.
Apparently, there's a kind of a shadowy Black Ops CIA group that has determined that all aliens are bad no matter what, and they will hunt them down. But there is a ulterior motive, and that is to they're in league with another Transformer, I guess.
Yeah. Even though all Transformers are bad, they are in cahoots with a Transformer.
Which I guess
bounty hunter.
this guy is a bounty hunter, and his name is Lockdown. Is Lockdown? Is that a known?
Couldn't tell you. Probably,
Okay.
but it's just a generic.
They
name.
kind of take liberties with these characters anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And apparently there are other things going on with the remains of these Transformers that to tell you would be to spoil all of the fun.
No, go ahead and spoil
All right.
it. This is spoiler zone.
All right.
We're talking about everything, Jared.
Well, I'm not going to go through the whole plot because to do that would be madness because it makes almost no sense.
Madness.
So they're collecting the remains of murdered and killed Transformers.
The carcasses of Transformers.
To harvest their
metal.
download their brains, and to collect their metal, which they have dubbed what, Shane?
Transformium.
Transformium.
The newest element.
Right. It's right up there with unobtainium.
I'll take adamantium. any day.
Transformium is like, I don't know, living metal. It can transform into anything. Yay!
Yeah.
I guess that explains why these robots are constantly shifting shape and form at will. Anyway.
Yeah. Which is terrible.
All of this is just an artifice to get every single fever dream action sequence that Michael Bay could conceive of to get slammed together in sequence in this film.
Yes.
With lots of particles and lots of fireworks.
Yes. And a lot of live action effects, a lot of special CGI effects. Most of them which really don't look that good considering the amount of money that they spent on this.
They look they're good at sometimes, and sometimes
sometimes it was terrible. Like the cables from the building to the.
Yeah.
I explain these plot points.
It doesn't
like,
matter.
The cables from a spaceship to a building. It was the worst thing I've ever seen.
All right. The storyline is literally every action cliche that you can think of.
Yes.
Slammed together. There
Michael-
are car chases. There are explosions. Everything around everyone gets destroyed.
There are lens flares galore, Jared. There's the sweeping panoramic shots. There's
every Michael Bay cliche you can think of.
If you've seen a Michael Bay film, or all of them, it's like they've all been compressed into one film.
Yes, the Transformers series.
I'm itching my face.
I think they're getting dumber. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't even know where do we start on this. I'll start with the characters. The characters are cliches of cliches. They are second generation cliches. They're copies. There is nothing to them that is interesting. There's no motivations that make real sense. You've got shadowy Black Ops guys. You've got uber patriot guy.
Yeah.
You've got
Well, let's break it down. So you've got Stanley Tucci as a mad Steve Jobs. That's essentially who he's playing. You've got
until he gets to China and he turns into some sort of wacky scaredy cat, which is just a weird character transformation.
You've got Kelsey Grammer, who's doing his best Dick Cheney imitation.
There you go.
And he looks like Dick Cheney. He acts like Dick Cheney.
Yep. You've got Mark Wahlberg as All-American Father.
Yeah, but he's not really that good. He's a dreamer, Jared.
He's a dreamer. He's a tinkerer. He's an inventor, which I don't completely buy. He lives in Texas, but doesn't have a Texas accent.
He locks his daughter down, like a good dad should. There's no dating.
No dating.
But the daughter is secretly dating, of course. A guy named Shane. If you're going to have a guy in a movie named Shane,
he's
do
Irish.
better. Do better. He's Irish in Texas.
And he's a rally car driver. How convenient.
Yes. Who just got a sponsorship by Red Bull.
He did.
Thank you for calling them out by name.
He could have been picked up by Budweiser or one of those untranslated Chinese beverages we saw.
We'll come back. We'll come around to the product placement. Which actually every time there was product placement, it dropped my score down a quarter of a star. I mean, I started out with about a star in this movie. By the time I was done, I think I was -6 stars.
Ooh.
But anyway, so
gotta bank some of those away for later.
Yeah,
you never know
for the next Transformers movies that are coming out. We forgot that some of the Michael Bay staples, which is the closet racism and sexism in the movie.
Yes, we have one of our Transformers. Never got a name that I know of. Is Japanese apparently.
Yeah,
has a Japanese. Terrible Japanese American accent.
I
will give that character points for being a triple changer, but that's the only points.
He was a triple changer.
Turning both a helicopter and a Bugatti car.
4 stars. You've got your
first triple changer, but that's the only points you get.
Okay, so let's go through the racism in the movie.
Okay,
your first and only speaking role for a black character was a saucy black.
You're right.
Realtor who then was sort of got in a confrontation with Mark Wahlberg, and he sort of talked to her down to her, and like he was,
and then she just randomly peels out and drives through a fence for no reason,
and he throws his bat at her.
Yeah,
but he talks about how he's going to beat her fat brother's ass, and he's going to give him a piece of pecan pie. It was a little uncomfortable.
It was now that I think about it, a little racist.
Yes, that's the only African American speaking part in this.
Yes, and one of the few. By the way, it wasn't one of the few female roles as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about the females as well. And then you've got
27 minutes of battery.
You've got the carryover mini Transformer, who I think was probably Rumble or Savage.
Yeah,
from earlier movies. He's sort of the saucy, streetwise guy that I don't know why he was there. But it was like, oh my God, I can't believe Michael Bay is going back to this. Has he not learned his lesson?
He was there as the translator. He could interface with the dead Decepticon brains and download their data.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Just saying.
You do absolutely have your Japanese robot, which was a little stereotype.
Yep.
Even though you're okay with the triple changer, it still was uncomfortable.
There's no reason for it.
Let's talk about how women are treated in this.
Let's talk about the fat robot.
Oh, the fat robot, Hound.
Why does he need to be fat? It makes no sense. Oh, wait. That's right. Internal logic. This
voiced by John Goodman. Terribly.
I was trying to place the voice. Okay, go ahead.
So then you've got Marky Mark's daughter,
yep,
who, for the most part...
we lost our light. We're back, folks. for professional reviewers.
For the most part, his daughter was shrieking in terror.
Yes, her job was to run around scared until the job was to not run around scared.
Yes, until she finally could come through. Now they did have, when they went to China, which is a whole nother thing. Yeah. There was like a weird action karate scene with a woman who's clearly a Chinese star.
Yeah.
Who they had to give her something to do.
Right, so she takes out some bad guys. Handle.
But beyond that, the women are non-existent. They are not at all useful. They are not at all helpful. They're usually scared and crying.
Yes.
Looking good in short shorts.
Well, Michael Bay wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes. So we've got that going for us.
Okay.
Let's sneak over to product placement. I counted
sidestep.
I counted no more than 3 or 4 product placements for Budweiser.
There were 3 that I recall immediately.
And it is a PG-13 movie.
Yes.
You have a scene where Mark Wahlberg pops open a beer and threatens a guy after an act, like a Budweiser truck falls over, and he pops a beer on his car and then takes a drink of it. in the middle of it. You've got product placement for Red Bull, for these weird Chinese milks. You've got product placement for Armani. You've got product placement for Victoria's Secret. You've got product placement for just about anything you can think of. It was there for a number of car companies, which, okay, we get it. It's cars. But it was blatant and bullshit.
Look, we exist in a world where there are products, and we see them every day, but we don't focus on them. We don't, have them centered in the frame while things blow up around them. Hello, Victoria's Secrets.
Yes.
I mean, you couldn't help but notice that name while the robots are fighting. It's just...
It's shameful.
Do better.
It is shameful.
What do we want? I mean, this film was over 2.5 hours long.
Yep.
You probably could have cut out about 17 different action sequences and tightened it up.
The bass made my chest hurt. I was having palpitations by the end of it.
This film is so loud. And not only the explosions and all of the action, but everyone's yelling at each other the entire film.
You've got music, video montage-y type scenes with hard rock music playing. Jared, this movie is dumb on a movie-making level. It is dumb on if you're a nerd that likes genre movies or Transformers. It's dumb on that level. It is dumb on every level.
I agree.
There is nothing redeeming about this movie. It is an example of everything bad. If you are one of those jackasses that go to movies and say,
why aren't they better?
Or no, you say, well, it's a Transformers movie. What do you expect? I go to expect big explosions. Well, if that's what you go to expect, you are stupid. You should ask for more. You should demand more from your movies. You can make smart action movies. We've talked about this with other films. You can have action movies that have poor character development or poor special effects, as long as other things in the movie make up for it. It pulls you back into a realm of belief. This movie does not do that.
There's terrible characterizations. The dialogue is nothing but action movie cliches and one-liners that half the time don't even make any sense in the context. Everything explodes for no reason at all. I mean, you could be running on concrete and suddenly there'd be a fireworks show. It makes no sense.
Robots, they are tough when they need to be.
Yes,
and they're
brittle when they don't need to be.
Yes, sometimes you can fly into outer space like Optimus Prime. Sometimes you need spaceships.
Sometimes you don't want guns. You just want a sword.
Yep. Sometimes the authorities can immediately find where the Transformers are. Other times, when the Transformers crash land a giant spaceship, it takes hours for the authorities to get there. And when they do send them, they send 8 cop cars. Cop cars.
Cop cars. Yeah, maybe they're armored cop cars. I don't know.
They're street legal. That's it.
You're trying to expect this film to have some sort of internal logic, and it clearly doesn't.
Jared, let's talk about your hatred of Chinese filmmaking now. Let's sneak over to that for a second. Your hatred of the Chinese.
So the back third of the film takes place in China. So this was obviously a co-production, or at least
a buy-off.
A buy-off to play to the Chinese market, but I think it really weakens the film because it completely changes the tone half the time. The characterizations change. Apparently, crossing the international date line does things to your personality.
In this movie, you just get weird, random, pretty Chinese people that clearly are famous there, but you have no context why they are there.
Yeah.
You've got not only, we've got the Budweiser product placement, we've talked about it before, you've got Chinese stuff product placement that's right there. That's like when Stanley Tucci is sitting drinking a milk drink box. It is so blatant, Jared. He drinks it and the camera, or he sort of moves up and you can see the label in the frame.
I'm also fairly sure that Beijing and Hong Kong are not a 20-minute drive apart.
Yeah, they're very close.
No, they're not.
You have an issue where,
China's a big country.
They pander to Chinese nationalism where they're like, oh no, we're in trouble. Let's go to the Chinese War Ministry or whatever. And they go to the War Ministry and they're like, we must protect our people at all costs. That's it.
Okay.
But so
do something.
It is clearly manipulative. It is clearly something to pander to a different audience. If you are going to do this, take a cue from one of the Iron Man movies where they film this stuff, they put it in the Chinese version, and then they don't put it in the American version or the the national version. And I'm not saying you can't do it.
It'd be hard to do this film since all of the final battle takes place in China.
Yeah, that's fine, but then do it smarter. Have it be organic, which is completely ironic because there's nothing organic in Michael Bay Transformers except the Transformers themselves because they can turn into any fucking shape you want.
There, we get one.
We get
it's a
one.
PG-13 film. We got one F-bomb.
Tons of cursing in this too. By the way, Transformers are saucy.
Yeah. Transformers are murderous. Yeah. Even the good guy Autobots, they wanted to kill humans all the time. They wanted to kill each other.
Age of Extinction, Jared. Dinobots. In the last 15 minutes of the movie, we don't understand them. We don't get why they need to be tamed.
Apparently, there was some sort of storyline going on there where there was some sort of ancient warriors, and Prime was a knight, and he had to win their respect.
The bounty hunter was capturing all the main Autobots, all the super knight guys, and I think Optimus Prime was one of them. And he was going to bring them back to their creators. That was the overarching.
Sounds like a lot of setup for the next film.
Yes. Yeah, and by the way, let's talk about Marky Mark's sword gun for 1 second. His Power Ranger gun. He pulls out this gun that's probably 3 feet long, and this gun can destroy Transformers.
Yes.
Why does not every Transformer have this gun?
And it's human scale for some strange reason. The only weapon in the weapons room, which they conveniently found on the giant spaceship, that is human scale.
And that made Marky Mark brave enough to say, I think Prime helped me. So Prime is about getting his face ripped off. I'm going to go as a little human flesh bag with my gun sword, which doesn't even have a proper handle. He just sort of goes like this.
Shitty.
And he's going to sacrifice himself.
You're really hyped up.
And he says, "Daughter, go. I love you." And then the daughter comes back, and this is a time when she's not crying, and she can grab a tow hook.
It's the third act. It's about time she stopped crying.
And in a clear ode to Irving Kershner, they take down the Transformer like a snowspeeder takes down an AT-AT with a tow cable.
Indeed. Look. We know that this film is not for us. This is for 13-year-old boys, and they will probably eat this stuff up. But at the end of the day, we have to objectively analyze this film, and it's objectively a terrible movie. All of them have been terrible movies.
Yes. I don't know. Is this worse than any of the other? No,
not
there's
really.
Other ones that are more overtly racist.
I think
they're all stupid.
Yeah. I mean, this is right on par with 2 and 3. Yep. Maybe it's in between them. I don't know. But it's not, if you love big, dumb action films and you don't demand anything more from your summer films.
And you like My Little Pony cameos.
Sure. Then you'll probably love this.
Yeah.
But objectively, it's bad filmmaking. It's a bad script with bad characters and bad acting and bad product placement and bad special effects and bad length. It's way too damn long.
It's bad.
It's a bad movie.
And for that, we're going to give it a scope score.
The scope score is 0 stars.
We're giving it 0 stars.
0.
And the reason why we're giving it...
We are giving it 0. You may give it more.
We're giving it 0 stars.
We think it's a bad film.
Because we have to stand up for integrity of film. You can like bad movies. You can appreciate bad movies. But this is beyond bad.
This isn't bad in a good way.
Yes.
This is just bad.
It's insulting to me. It's insulting to Jared. It should be insulting to you. Avoid it.
Right.
Jared, tell them how they can contact us. I'm done.
Look, if you like what we're doing, like, comment, subscribe. That's all I got to say.
That's it. So for Jared, this is Shane. Transformers 4 sucks. Don't see it. And we'll see you on our next review, which I guarantee will be better than this. Peace out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope Faithful. Days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying arrivederci. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.